I think I lost audio. I didn't lose audio. Okay, welcome to Dorstat. I'm Pinot Gris. I've woken up and escaped my kotatsu again, which is something of an accomplishment. And then my samurai-san kidnapped me to make me talk about stuff. What is our topic today, Samurai? You're not streaming your voice, okay, but you tell me it's the avatar community. So I have to do all the work today as well. Let me think. I don't know, like, can you give me a little bit of a prompt, please, my samurai-san? Like, I guess your avatar is different, but this one was also made by, yours was made by an Italian, right? And mine by Mackenzie, who's, I think, Japanese. Seems to be inspired by Soviet things a little bit. That's nice. And like yours has almost no functionality. You can squint one way, you can squint another way, and you can pull out your sword. I remember Roma's naughty one had a little more functionality that Inu Wakamoto's sensei gave it, right? That was pretty perverted though. Again, I don't know why you guys want me to lecture on things. Like, I don't, unless if it's like some sort of bizarro social critique or like, or like analysis of movies or something. I'm not really that insightful. What kind of community? I have no idea what you're indicating. Oh, yeah, so I don't know, I see the job. Okay, so comparison between, did you turn your voice on the stream or should I repeat it? Okay, well, I mean, does the stream hear you now? Did you turn your voice on for it? Did you turn your voice on for the stream? Or am I the only one who hears you? Okay, only me, so I have to repeat it. Thank you. So, like, the samurai's question then is like, what's the difference between, or what is the comparison between the Japanese community's preferences and the Americans? I think before I get into like style, there are some rules. So like your avatar can't disturb people. It can't pull their vision around. It shouldn't have like lots of loud sounds and everything or play weird music when you enter. And it's not that some avatars don't do these things, but there's like a context for it. You know, if you go to your friends and say, hey, look at my cool avatar, and you all view it together, then you're all viewing it together, and that's fine. But like just generally sitting around your avatar should not disturb people. It should also be like made with some sort of technical elegance. Like it shouldn't be very clumsy with its use of resources. You know, have like 1700 materials or something, and basically people's computers should not chug because you entered the room. Though I think that the kind of Western approach is get a better computer, you stupid potato. It's very bellicose. And I also noticed like copyright, like you can be inspired by things in the Japanese community, but you can't like outright take them as, you know, the assets and stuff like that. So like people pay homage to anime or manga or something they like, but they can be really sensitive to corporate copyrights. Like there's a small furry avatar, and it can turn in, it has like a Pikachu mode and a Sonic the Hedgehog mode, and those while exploring, I saw some Japanese people pull that up, and they called it Abunai, which is like dangerous. And then they started like diffusing it, like, no, it's the tail is different from Pikachu, so it's an original character. And so they how to put it, but those are some of the big differences I noticed, just as far as like community level rules go. As far as like personal tastes, I think like everybody likes customizing their avatars, but the sort of the asset sets that are common in the communities are like really different. You know, I think the like Western style has like very, I don't know how to put it, like there's some thick I think is the word that Westerners use. Like I see this very, what's that stupid old pervert's name? Harry Crumb? He drew like a bunch of very old perverted magazines. Like I see a avatar that looks like a girl from that. You know, I think, probably an American. Like very skimpy, I don't know, like sexual clothing and stuff, and I don't really see that so much in the Japanese crowd. A lot less like particle effects and things too, slightly different color palette. But I don't really know how to describe it with words. Okay, what would I like? Even this avatar, I don't know. I'm going to digress. I did buy this avatar. I reviewed it in what do you call it? One of the avatar museums. But like I didn't realize exactly how complicated it is. Like the face, like I can make an expression with one hand and then my other hand can modify the expression, and it's really complicated and I don't know how to puppeteer it. And it doesn't have any fizz bones yet. Like I can't tangle my sleeve strap or something, knock my buckles, move my hair. But I think everybody, both communities, are really excited about fizz bones. Like I see my Western modifying friends talking about them, using them on their avatars, usually for some kind of hentai thing. But I haven't heard. I've seen Japanese users with them, and I've probably slapped a couple of them, but I haven't seen it so pronounced yet. But as far as like the greater community goes, like, you know, it's pretty easy to move. I think that it's, oh, I have to sneeze. Okay. I'll try not to sneeze. I think that it's true that both communities have like this hidden, like, what did you call it, fairy element? Masamura-san? You called the Japanese people fairies, like they exist in this hidden world. Yeah. I think that they both have this hidden world level to it. The main difference is that the level that's not hidden doesn't exist so much for the Japanese side, and then so what's left is just the Western obvious world, which is, you know, that many quest users or like children or like people who are here for kind of low grade socialization. So like, and then for the really creative Westerners kind of withdraw themselves from that, or they move in a little bit but then come back out and hide. but it's very typical in the Japanese society, isn't it? Like if you're not, what do you call it? You have to be kind of let in and find your way, through the channels. Somebody's come. It is Shell. Shell is an expert in this. Shell, come up on stage. We're streaming. Yeah. I'm not sure that he'll hear you. We were talking. Can you see what's on the board? Okay. We were talking about the difference between the community and avatars of Japanese and Western. Yeah. I was just getting into how the oh there you go.
Hey, sorry, I can hear you now.
I need my tea.
Hello. How many people are watching?
3, and they're all my samurai.
ライフは難しいでしょみんな、こんばんは。
So I was saying, the Japanese community is pretty exclusive, but you're welcome to join as long as you can demonstrate that you are a safety person.
50%.
So, especially if you have a friend who recognizes that you're not going to violate the social rules and then shows you in, you're a made man. You can just come in and be polite. I would say probably. At least that's my strategy, except I'm like a total social incompetent. So other people might have successful strategies of their own.
Yeah, it's got mostly to...
We're talking about fizz bones, and I don't have any. Yeah. No, that's noisy.
I have fizz bones.
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I might have one on my fingers for tapping stuff, but...
I can check that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah, on the right is...
Yeah.
So Shell has...
But I don't need the camera.
Shell has a, filter or something that lets him see...
Everyone has
different aspects of the VR world. We do?
If you go to your menu, and you go to options, like the little circle menu, and you go to options, and you go to config, and then you go to avatar overlay, and then you select fizz bones, and you can actually see other people's fizz bones. For example, I can see your fizz bone, and it's not present.
I don't see any on fizz bones proximity. Oh. Okay, that's very creepy.
What? The overlay?
Yeah.
You're looking at my boobs, aren't you? Dirty girl.
I got them. These are the largest boobs I've ever had in my life, by the way. They're enormous. My back hurts just looking at them.
Yeah.
So isn't it you can see if people have the really dirty setup based on where they have fizz bones junction? Because
technically it's the point of someone who's having a naughty avatar and actually having interactions with impossible is not entirely depending on fizz bones. It's depending on a lot of things.
Okay.
So Maybe some of it will give you a hint, but no direct indication.
So, but what do you think about then the Japanese VR community?
What about it?
We were talking about the differences and what it's like in each side.
The most important part, in my opinion, about the Japanese community is that everything you do it with keeping in mind that what you do can affect other people. So if you try to be only about yourself, then you're not going to make it far. In my opinion, at least. And if that's the mindset you have, you'll be fine. That you think about others as well. So if you, for example, you found a very nice avatar that you like, and you use it a lot, but it's a very unoptimized avatar, and people around you start crashing because your avatar is basically shit, yeah, they're not gonna like that. At least that's the attitude.
I've been having that problem when I go to the dance worlds. Like, everything's so heavy, even like 30 users crashes my computer. And then like one person leaves and suddenly I'm okay.
Yeah. It's usually a lot of the Western users have way more powerful PCs, so they don't notice it actually, that other people are suffering. Then again, if you're in VR, you should get a good computer. Like, there's no getting out of it. I've met a few people who are like in VR on a laptop with like very poor graphics, and I'm like, yeah, unless you know what you're buying, like, don't try to do VR on a laptop. But that's my opinion. But on the other hand, yeah, you want to keep that in account with other people. Al Nicholson has a very nice problem with that. He has, like, everyone that joins his events are friends of him. So all the avatars are always shown. So he has to have a rule at his event saying, like, poor is the worst we accept. Anything else is no-go. And then people say, yeah, but you can disable them. And he's like, they're my friends. I want to see them. So
he's a performer we saw yesterday, right?
Yesterday?
Wasn't that yesterday?
What was yesterday?
SLP?
SLP? Yeah, SLP was yesterday, but you were there? I didn't notice that.
Yes, you and I talked extensively.
Oh, now I remember that. Yes, that event. Sorry. I was thinking, you missed that. After the event, they had a live performance for Animazement in America. And that took so long, I forgot everything that happened before that.
I see.
By the way, talking about avatars.
Oh, yes, you have more tracking points on your elbows now. So you don't get little T-Rex arms when you lift your elbows.
It's horrible. I'm still having issues though with the trackers. I think I'm gonna need another one.
How many? When are you going to stop, Shell? You're gonna cover your whole body and trackers?
When I reach 11-point tracking, I can't add any more, so that's gonna be the limit.
Okay.
Can't help it. Although I'm not sure if the elbow tracking is that useful for me.
Probably
so
not.
I might consider strapping the trackers onto something else. I'll see what I do.
So then what about the American side? Like, or I should say Western side, not just American.
The Western side. The Western side is weird because just like in the Japanese community is completely in private worlds. So they tend to treat Friend Plus as
That's not my chair.
What are you sitting on there now?
The floor.
The floor. Congratulations. What I noticed in the like I said, the Japanese community usually floats around in the Friend Plus universe, and they rarely go to public. So basically, for them, Friends Plus is public in a sort of way, if you look at it, as semi-public. In the Western community, there's a lot of people that move around in public. Those are the first ones you encounter when you join VRChat. What I notice is that there is also a very growing group of people that only go to private worlds like Friend Plus or Invite Plus. And in these communities, they tend to be highly, how do you say that, educated on what is acceptable in VRChat, and usually scoff a lot at the people in public worlds that use very unoptimized avatars. So when I go to those worlds, they tend to have a lot of users that have really highly optimized avatars, usually ranging in the area of medium. So in those communities, medium is the gold standard, while in the Japanese community, the poor is the gold standard, which is something I would expect to be the other way around. But in general, most problems in the Western community are people don't know, and they just go to a world where they have like lots of avatars to pick from, and they just pick anything they like. And then it turns out to be very poor and optimized avatars, and they use those a lot, and a lot of people go like, oh cool, where do you get a one? And they go to the world as well and pick up their stupid avatar, and then it turns into one giant poor unoptimized pile of shit. That's sadly what's happening a lot, from what I've seen so far. I'm not sure what your experience is.
Mine? I think somewhat similar. I don't spend a lot of time in public worlds, particularly like Western side. I think probably the place I spend the most amount of time is at test pilots bouncing scrubs.
Let me sit down as well. Standing is not fun. It's gonna be a lazy show, guys. Sorry. Let me sit next to you.
Ew, gross.
May I come closer here to the center of the camera?
No, my samurai can move. He's got to do something too.
Oh dear. Maybe next time we need a table with a microphone.
You weren't there. He just poked his head through the mirror, but it's a transparent mirror, so it's not so scary. But there was one day when filming at the last dance practice, Yoikami and who is it? Koa-san and I think I were all standing in front of the mirror, and then my samurai's head just pokes his face.
New World. Yeah.
That was so scary.
I totally imagine that, yeah.
So, like I noticed that what is it? Chill is kind of like the watchword of the Western world. It's like people just sit around and talk about something light, or sometimes they'll watch movies that are like a weekly what do you call it? Like a weekly meme channel or something.
Yeah.
But then I always have a feeling that those people are also like very on edge.
Yeah. So, what I also notice is that a lot of these Western users are not used to seeing a lot of people. They usually hang out in groups like maximum 10 to 20 people, and that's it. And the first reaction I always get from Western users that for some reason end up in a Japanese world is like, holy crap, there are like 60 people in here. I'm like, 60? Yeah, it's a bit of a slow night. Normally there are 80 here, and they're like, 80? I've never seen that. I'm like, I've been in worlds with 100 people. What are you talking about? And they are absolutely not used to seeing so many people. And then complain, of course, that the frame rate is really low. I'm like, Well, what do you expect? There are 80 people here. And
Yeah.
I think that's got to do with those people who just, yeah. That's another thing. Like, there are no events in the Western community at all.
Very
Like,
few.
very few, yeah. I, there, there are events in the Western community. But for example, to give an indication, the Western community has just like a Japanese community, they have like an event calendar where they keep track of all the events that are interesting. People can apply for it. Any event can go in there. And at the peak, I think the maximum amount of events on that calendar was like 8 to 10 per week. And all the other events, basically, if there is an event, they just promote it on their own Discord. They don't promote it anywhere else, weirdly. And these event calendars, well, it's like currently I think that there are 6 events on them per week. And when I talk to people about that, like in the Western community, they are surprised, like, holy crap, there are 6 events per week? That's a lot. I'm like, a lot? 6 events per hour is the norm in the Japanese community. And they're like, how many? Like, it's like their mind breaks. They're like, they can't comprehend that concept. It's,
You know, another
sad.
thing I don't see in the Western community is like the hosted worlds. There are a bunch of worlds where it's just like a cafe or a bar or your friend with the tea world or somebody with the piano and what, and he just entertains people.
Oh yeah, the hostess world. I haven't done a lot of
Yeah.
those, but I've seen a few. I think in the Western world they would consider that role playing, and then it usually goes to extremes like the Star Wars themed blah 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 blah. But that's usually attracting lots of nerds who basically just get angry at each other because they got the lore wrong or something. I haven't really looked into that a lot though. There must be some. I mean, they're interested in role playing, so I don't understand why there are not a lot of events. That's one thing I don't understand. There's so much mass in the Western community, so many users, and yet I get the impression nothing is happening. It's like they take the title of VR chat literally. VR chat. You're in VR and you're chatting. That's it. What you do. Anything else is like irrelevant.
I was saying that like I know that there are the like hidden Western worlds where there is a lot of creativity and stuff going on, but they don't seem to connect as much with the outside viewers as the Japanese do, and that the Japanese doesn't have that like baseline of just huge, very noisy, drunken people.
Oh, that's another problem. Yeah.
So they're perhaps even more fairies, those super creative Western people.
Yeah. Well, that's something I noticed in the Japanese community is that when you have events and an American does show up, they are usually wasted, like absolutely stunning drunk.
Yeah.
And they go, "Ooh, there's a party here," and they're standing there in a Christmas avatar, going like, and then
where's the spin the bottle table?
Yeah. Nah, where they're drinking games, and then like, do you even take a look at yourself, like, what is going on here? And then a lot of the Japanese are looking at these people like, what the hell is it? How did this guy get in? How was he able to press the "okay, I understand the rules" button in the state he is in right now?
What was the one world I went to today? And it had a quiz on Japanese stuff in Japanese to prove you're a Japanese speaker.
Yeah. That happens a lot, yeah. Oh, that's one of the worlds that, like, normally those worlds used to be places where you could just enter. But yeah, the
Mhm.
Japanese community got so fed up with all the Americans that walked around there. Like Americans, I would say a lot of Western users in general. I even met people from Peru and from Brazil. But they kind of
What
got
the
sick of the people walking up to them and asking that dreaded question, like "Nihonjin desu ka?" Like if a Japanese person hears that, you can actually see him like say squint like, "Ugh," like because they know the
that
next question is gonna be, "I want to practice Japanese with you," and like, dude, I don't have time for you. I'm enjoying the show, or I am here trying to learn about VR chat, or I'm at an event. If I would
is that
like you to teach other people Japanese, I would go to a world where you can learn stuff.
is that true, Masamure-san?
I think Masamura-san is immune to it. True? Oh dear. We hit
I
a sore spot, I
heard.
guess.
I had it asked to me a couple of days ago, or no, is it yesterday's? Recently, I was talking with so and so, and like a American girl comes up and asks us if we're Japanese, and it
I can
was
finally
always a
read
little
it.
awkward. You can finally read it.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful.
Yeah. It's as I expected. Great.
And we had kind of a laugh because she assumed I was Japanese as well or something, and pretty much not.
I think, and another problem is that I noticed a while ago is the disregard for understanding the rules, even if they're not written down. I was talking about this with some people that went to Ghost Club, and
What's Ghost Club?
Hmm?
What's Ghost Club?
Ghost Club is one of those Japanese DJ events. It used to be very underground for a long time, but recently they opened up and allowed in foreigners to join as well. Like, I mean, they weren't against foreigners, but they were like, the entire club was pretty exclusive. If you wanted to enter the club, you needed to write a poem or write a diary and then present that to the owner of the club, and then he would read it and say like, yeah, okay, you can enter. It was it was an interesting thing. About a year and a half ago, they kind of opened up the doors to everyone. So as long as you had access to the Discord server, you can enter their event. Because as soon as you enter the Discord server, there's a bot that automatically sends an invite to you through VR chat. So as long as you're friends with the bot, you can enter the world. Or when it's open. They have a very strict policy. Like almost all Japanese events have the same policy. Like no filming and no audio recording. Period. Like that's a no-go. And most of the times these people understand that and they accept that, and it's kind of, the rule is so popular that other clubs actually copy the rule set of Ghost Club, even in the Western community. So it's an interesting development. Like they are trendsetters. But this girl from, I think it's from Spain, she's studying some Japanese for fun, I think. And she did like an hour recording of Ghost Club and posted it on YouTube. And I was just looking for a documentary about Ghost Club, and I was searching Ghost Club on YouTube, and suddenly this movie passed along. And I sent it to my friend who is friends with the staff of Ghost Club, and he's like, well, that's a no-go. I'm like, yeah, definitely a no-go. So I looked up some information. Well, here's all the information. He's like, yep. And he submitted it to the staff of Ghost Club, and she got kicked out. But it's so simple. It's like you don't do that. You don't record at events, and that's it. At least, recording, that's your own problem. But I mean, don't publish it. That's definitely the one rule. Don't publish it. While in the Western community, it's pretty common that people say like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a VTuber," and they just go to like a Japanese random world and they start recording people in their conversations and then post them on YouTube. And then I checked their profiles and I noticed like, hey, they were friends with some of my people that I knew, and then suddenly they're no longer friends with them because everyone like unfriended them or blocked them because they don't like it that you record stuff.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just noticed that the mirror has a fades over distance. I was like, huh?
Yes, it fades as you back away.
Oh, there's actually very low latency in the movie. There are now only 2 people watching. Aww.
I feel sorry for both of them.
Yeah, because they're sitting over there.
I am totally out of things to talk about on this topic. I'm sorry. Does our poor suffering audience have questions? Let's hear the comment.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Is anybody watching the stream not also participating in the stream? Do we have an viewer?
Nope. Great.
Can you submit a question so we can talk about it?
No. What do I want to ask? Yeah, I got a question for you. When are you gonna get fist bones in your boobs?
I'm not. Probably never. I haven't programmed them. Never. What are you so upset about? It's not like you're gonna get to touch him or something. Stay away. Seriously, we can't ever meet in person because you're gonna get a broken hand.
But in real life, there's nothing to touch. That's fine.
So what? It's the thought that counts.
Oh.
You're really happy with those, aren't you?
Of course I'm happy. Oh, I also
you
show
figured
my
out how to do
avatar.
them. Which avatar?
Loading. Am I switching? Can you see it on camera?
CCP?
Oh. The J-Pop Foundation. This is my official staff t-shirt.
K-pop. For what?
I work for an organization that promotes Japanese pop culture in Europe, specifically the Netherlands. And all the staff members that work for the organization have a staff t-shirt. It's actually not like a cheap one, but actually a very durable one. It's the red one, and it says J-pop and to stop. That's the logo. And below it says staff. So people at our convention, if you wear this t-shirt, you're basically allowed to do certain things and make certain decisions that other people can't. So I made one for in VR chat as well.
Are you guys gonna do events in VR chat?
I wish I could say yes, but right now, staff is to put a perspective on it, like the Japanese community consists of on an average day between 5,000 and 10,000 active users. The American community is between 20 and a peak of 80,000 active users. And I've seen the Japanese community sometimes peak up to like 15 or 20. Then there's also the general European community that's somewhere in between. And then most active users are in the UK, a little bit France, Spain, a lot in Spain. There's some Russians. I haven't seen a lot of them. Yeah, Spain. Spanish is really popular in VR chat. Almost on the same level as the Koreans.
That's another hidden world.
Yeah. And you got German and Italians. There's also quite a lot of Norwegians, or like not Norwegians, Nordic people, like Norway, Sweden, and Finland. I looked up some communities in the Dutch area, like the Netherlands. In general, I think the active user base of VRChat, when it comes to Dutch people, floats around the 200 active users on a weekly basis.
That sounds like too many.
Yeah, that's a very high estimate. And because I'm trying to be on the safe side, but it's like people have heard about VRChat, they go to VRChat, they see the public world, and they just run away screaming. So like, I don't have time for this shit. And then they never come back. And they don't care about VRChat at all. They are not interested in making a community there. They're not interested in doing stuff. They're not interested in getting into it. So yeah, the problem is our organization would love to do stuff in VR, but our target audience are Europeans, and our main target audience is the Dutch population. And if none of them are in VRChat, then why the hell should we organize something in VRChat or in VR in general? I really want to do it, but I'm now slowly trying to introduce people to VRChat, saying like, hey, you really have to try this. It's really cool. Some people pick it up really fast and they're like, oh yeah, I get it. I got a friend of mine who recently bought a Quest headset, and he is pretty stunned about how different the Japanese community is, and he is having a lot of fun. So he goes to he's also now going to SLT and other events, so he's really enjoying himself.
What if you held the event in VR, but then like you streamed it? Like your main, it was here, it was produced here, but your main venue for watching it is intended to be YouTube or Twitch or something.
Yeah, well, right now I am trying to. Because due to Corona, we had a lot of situations where we had to cancel our events, and they kept canceling. We kept organizing, and we kept canceling, and then we replaced the canceled event with a online version of the event. So anything that could have been done on live stream, we put it on live stream, and then we basically make a short version. And the first time that it happened, they asked me, okay, Shadow, what can you do? I'm like, we need to fill half an hour. I'm like, sure, I'll make a half an hour video. I asked one of my VRChat friends. She interviewed me about my photography in VRChat. And people were like, photography? In VR? They're like, what are you talking about? Like, they know nothing about that. So I think let's start with that. So I explained the photography part of VRChat, the thing I like to do in VR. And then right after that, the VTV World asked me to help me out with filming during one of their recordings. And I said, yeah, sure, I'm going to help out. That's fine. And I was there, and they said, okay. And I was like really confused because they threw me in a server called Animazement. I'm like, Animazement is a American event, like a big convention. Why would Japanese people be involved with an American convention? I was very confused. And it turned out they did a live recording of like a music event in VRChat, made a movie out of it, and then submitted that to the convention. And they showed that during their live stream because they had the same issue we had. Their real event was cancelled and they replaced it with a virtual one. So when I was there, I told them like, hey, I'm also doing a convention. Are you guys willing to do the same thing for us? And they said, oh, we're just about to ask you if you knew anything. They didn't know I was staff of the anime convention. So that's what we currently did last winter in December. We showed the VTV World program for 2 hours. It was specifically made for our event, and we displayed it at our event. And now suddenly people are turning their heads like, what's going on here? Like you can see them, they see something happening and they say, okay, that must be VR chat, but they don't understand how. But only about 200 people actually saw the video because it was doing a live stream. And this time we gonna have an event in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks in June. And we're gonna show that video to potentially about between, well, we can fit 3,000 people in that room, but it's probably gonna be a lot less. It's gonna be more than 500 at least. So, and it's gonna be shown on Fridays and on Sundays, and we're gonna live stream it. So it's gonna be a lot of people gonna be watching online. A lot of people gonna be watching it at our event. And I'm curious how they will respond to this. They'll have a lot of questions. And I'm hoping to generate that interest.
Samurai-san, does that satisfy your streaming urge for the day?
Cool.
Yay!
45 minutes.
Gone a lot longer. Thank you.
The stream started 31 minutes ago.
If you do watch, thank you for watching.
45 minutes.
And we'll see you next time. And it's really my hope that it'll be another episode of Torstad, not a stream, because I prefer the episodes.
In the meantime, please, hang on. I need to go in that direction. Can I walk in that? I can't walk in that direction. Wait? Yeah, I need to go in this way. Because I need to point out that there is a, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, right down here. Subscribe and hit the bell button. Other way, this one.
Oh, thank you, Shell. Yes, subscribe. Bye.
Goodbye. Then get back to my spot. This is really clunky to walk around here. And it sucks so much.